Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to be here today. We are team from Scrap to Strategy from Mebane, North Carolina. I'm Stisha.
I'm Dan.
And I'm Casey.
All right, before we get started, I have a quick question. By a show of hands, who here would like to reduce their energy consumption in their households? Perfect, that's exactly what I want to see. Well, we want to take this same exact idea and implement it to our workplace. However, at the moment, ABB Mebane is the fourth highest waste producing facility. If we continue working this way, there is no chance for us to reach our Mission to Zero goals. Every year, we waste 1,075 tons of material. To help paint a little picture, that is equivalent to 215 adult elephants in weight. $2 million down the drain just like that every year. And so to address the elephant in the room, Andres, what even is our project about?
Now, what makes ABB Mebane so different than other facilities? Well, we're engineered to order, or ETO. Up to 40% of the switchgears that we make are custom-made. We have a total of 70 amount of raw materials across copper and steel, and the number of part numbers keep increasing day by day, making it almost impossible for us to standardize utilization. And it doesn't even stop there. The applications, the tools, and the machines that we use for both steel and copper are totally different. Now, we realized this in the first few weeks that we got here, and we realized that we had something big. We knew we had two lean challenges in one. And how do we tackle this? Well, we divided and conquered and split it in two teams. Team Copper with Casey and Dan, and Team Steel with Stisha and I. And that is exactly what we're gonna be doing here today. We're gonna walk you guys through both of these solutions, starting up with steel. Now, being ETO for steel means that demand fluctuates day by day. And there's no telling as to what parts we're getting. We don't know what material, what thickness, and most importantly, the part dimensions that we're gonna get. Basically, leaving utilization up to luck. We did some historical analysis to see if there was any room for improvement. And based on the lack of ideal jobs, we realized that there was. And with a 51% of initial utilization, basically meaning that we waste half of the sheet, we had to do something about this. But why was this happening? What was the initial state? Well, the planners would nest whatever was available from the same material and thickness and immediately send it down to the floor, with no room for improvement in utilization. To tackle this, we developed the output board. The output board's main purpose is to combine jobs from the same material and thickness into one, therefore increasing the utilization and reducing the NVA time of tool setup down on the manufacturing floor.
Since we are an ETO facility that is so heavily influenced by demand, every other sheet that we punch looks quite like the one on the screen. The highlighted red shows you just how much material is wasted on every sheet. And so what did we do about this? We introduced right-size sheets. In this specific example, we were able to double the utilization. And so out of our 29 materials, for 9 of these, we now carry the full size and the right size sheet. Next, we have point of use templates. These are our high running parts that are punched out in the exact same formation every time we have an order for them. Out of these 60 templates, we noticed that 11 of them were severely underutilized. So we made our modifications, and after this, noticed a 10% average increase in material utilization. Now, all 3 of these solutions put together resulted in a whopping 17% increase in material utilization. And this was just for steel.
All right, guys, who's ready for Team Copper?
Thank you for that intro, Dan. Of all of the machines in fabrication, only one stands out for its lack of utilization tracking, the copper punch machine. This lack of visibility is expensive. We spend $2.3 million on raw copper materials alone, with $700,000 being lost to scrap. And our biggest contributor, the punch machine, where we have no feedback and no tracking.
So guys, what makes tracking so difficult? When we arrived in Mebane, we uncovered several clues. The first, leftover bars over 3 feet aren't scrapped. They're sent to storage for later use. And remember, as we've said, we're an ETO facility, so one production order probably won't fit a 12-foot bar. But these clues left us with more questions than answers. So to answer those questions, we developed a utilization metric that measures the amount of bar used the first time it gets punched. We conducted exhaustive time studies on the floor with the operators and found this number to be only 53%, Guys, 53% is super low, and the negative impacts you can see immediately on the floor. Take a look at the video on the left. The operator enters the storage area 5 times in just 25 minutes to load and unload those bars by hand. We have a $700,000 robot sitting there that's designed to do that job for her. The spaghetti chart on the right confirms this. Her movements are concentrated in that area between her storage rack and her workstation. What does this all mean? Big picture. Our time studies indicated that a whopping 81% of her shift could be classified as non-value added time. To go along with this, we identified 4 major wastes of this NVA time, and obviously motion was the highest at 61%.
Now, what if we were able to combine multiple orders to fill up the entire bar the first time around? Well, you may not believe me when I tell you this, but the planning team was already doing this, and the operators were not using them. Now, why was this? First of all, 95% of the nests that we tried to run resulted in an error. When this error happens, the operator has to call for help and wait for a member of the planning team to come and help them. This took on average 4.5 minutes, completely interrupting workflow. Even when the nests were done properly, they were extremely overwhelming for the operators. Parts come out fast in a random order with no easy way to identify them. After fixing all of our errors, we also implemented the nest sheet, which are those pink pages on your screen. They give custom, step-by-step instructions of what part is coming off the machine when, completely eliminating operator confusion.
Now guys, I can't emphasize enough how frustrating and how long it took to remove these nest errors, but the impact was worth it once we implemented them properly. We're happy to report a staggering 52% reduction in non-value added time. And to go along with this, our biggest waste culprit, motion, dropped to 16%.
And this isn't our only area of improvement. We were able to increase our utilization by 19%. And with our new nest procedures, the operators are able to run the parts as the machine is printing them, tripling our part output production. Not only did we do this, we created the first ever copper real-time scrap tracking. This database saves every nest, every part produced, and every tool used. The uses for this data are endless. We can have for further improvements on the punch machines, KPIs per planner, per month, and even AI or machine learning datasets in the future.
Okay, so Kaizen, change for good, right? We're happy to announce that in the course of working in steel and copper, we were challenged to step into the shoes of the operators, and in so doing, we found 13 Kaizen opportunities. So I'm going to start with our shine and set an order category, and just highlight our small hardware Kanban system we implemented. Then moving on, some Kaizens may seem small on the surface, but they mean a lot to the operators. Every Kaizen you've seen here was a suggestion or request from an operator working hard on the shop floor. And then finally, visual management was huge for us. We re-entered that copper storage area we talked about and organized it by thickness and material height so that if an operator does have to use a bar, they can pull it at a glance. I'd also like to highlight our digital inventory management system that previously existed on a whiteboard. So in keeping with our operator first focus, we asked them to conduct 5S audits of their workstations before and after these improvements, and happy to announce that our scores went from 65 to 88%.
Safety is our license to operate here at ABB, and so we wanted to make sure we protected the longevity of our operators. Our first ergonomic improvement is with this bin here that is awkward and underneath the machine. This bin could weigh up to 50 pounds. And now, with the cart that we designed, the operator does not have to bend down at all. Our next ergonomic improvement came straight from the voice of the customer. Before, operators did not know when they needed a second person to pick up heavy pieces. Now, with our Find a Friend icon, the operators know at a glance when they need a second person for help.
We've made a huge impact on the safety side of things, and now let's talk about the environmental impact. With all our changes this summer, we were able to save 235 tons of material. This is about 470 metric tons less carbon dioxide emitted into the atmosphere. Furthermore, that is enough energy to power 97 homes for an entire year.
Wait, Stisha, what about money?
Andres, I was just getting there. All in all, we were able to save $1.2 million. This isn't just a win for Mebane, it's a win for ABB and our planet.
But this doesn't mean anything unless we can sustain it. For our control phase, we developed control charts for both steel and copper utilization. A control chart will be able to tell us early signs of process drift, and we'll be able to get to the root cause as to why we may be under our lower control limit. keeping utilization as high as possible. Additionally, we develop work instructions for every single process that we made here in Mebane. Now, KPIs are a big thing because what gets measured gets done. This is why we developed this Power BI. The Power BI tracks planners' utilization by day. This is not only inputted in their offices, but also in the Tier 2 meetings to have more accountability so we can make sure utilization is always up.
Now, we've seen the changes and the impact that all of our solutions have had here in Mebane, and we believe these solutions can be implemented all across the board at other fabrications. When it comes to steel, we've seen the impact that right-size sheets has had, and other facilities can do this in 3 simple steps. First, find your high-running materials. Secondly, simulate the right size for your facility. And last, simply order the parts.
As for copper, our data collection template can be replicated to any machine in any fabrication facility. Having clean data sets tailored to the application of AI, the possibilities are truly endless. Fabrication should be a data-driven, smart department. We simply have to be deliberate about the data that we save.
Okay, so we painted a picture for you guys, right? Now, hopefully you understand the grind that went into this, the long hours of data collection and analysis, and most importantly, the targets that we absolutely smashed. But enough from us. Let's hear from the people whose lives we impacted on a daily basis.
Yeah, the team helped us out a lot by developing best practices for nesting procedures to optimize our raw copper material utilization, and also helped a lot by developing tools to track our historical tool data, allowing us to operate with more lean tooling inventory.
I loved my experience with each intern. They were all so sweet. I love that they made my work area much safer and neater, and also made it more possible for me to have a productive day at work.
Lastly, this is our target sheet, and we're more proud to say that we not only accomplished our goals, but we went above and beyond. And we know that we're leaving Mebane leaner
Leaner and
cleaner.
cleaner.
Thank you, and now we're open to any questions.